Have you seen the wildest golf rage moments that will leave you in shock? This exclusive look takes you through 6 jaw-dropping instances of golf rage. These unforgettable moments show that even the most composed players have a breaking point. This will definitely catch your interest in golf. Using insights from Golf Digest and Golf.com, we've gathered the most intense golf meltdowns ever recorded. Stay with us, you won't believe the final moment we have. Let's begin with number 6, Sam Burns' unforgettable driver break. At the 2022 FedEx Street Jude Championship Professional Golfer, Sam Burns was having a solid round and seemed entirely focused. But things took a surprising turn when he hit an unsatisfactory tee shot on the 9th hole. Frustrated with the result, Burns reacted in a way that went beyond the usual expressions of disappointment. In a sudden burst of anger and adrenaline, he slammed his driver into the ground with such force that it snapped cleanly in half. This wasn't just any club, it was his primary driver, the one he relied on for long shots off the tee. Without his main club, Burns faced a significant challenge, as he now had to complete the remaining 9 holes using other clubs to replace his driver. Yet, even without the distance advantage his driver provided, he displayed remarkable skill and resilience, finishing the round with a score of 70. This memorable incident highlighted how even the pros sometimes struggle with emotions on the course, but it also showed Burns' ability to adapt and persevere under pressure, making it a defining moment of the tournament. At number 5, we have Tiger Woods' infamous club kick. Even the greatest athletes sometimes let their emotions get the best of them. During the 2012 Masters tournament at Augusta National Golf Club, Tiger Woods found himself struggling on the 16th hole. After a poor shot with his 9-iron, frustration took over, and in a rare outburst, he kicked his club in the middle of the fairway. The scene was unforgettable. Spectators stood in stunned silence as the club flew through the air, a surprising moment from one of golf's most composed players. As one of Nike's most visible spokespeople, this slip-up likely had executives watching with bated breath. Following the incident, Tiger publicly apologized, acknowledging that it was an uncharacteristic and regrettable response to the high-pressure moment. While the crowd soon returned to its usual energy, it's safe to say Tiger probably felt that outburst more than anyone, both emotionally and perhaps a little physically too. Number 4 is Thomas Pieters' neck-bending feat. In the 2018 Wentworth tournament, professional golfer Thomas Pieters found a surprising way to release his frustration after a poor shot. While some players might break their club over their knee or throw it aside, Pieters did something completely unexpected and far from ordinary. After his shot, he took hold of his iron, gripped each end firmly, and bent it by pressing it against his neck, using the strength of his upper body to warp the metal. It was a bold move that showed his frustration, but also his physical strength and resilience. Remarkably, Pieters walked away unhurt, even though bending a golf club with one's neck could easily lead to injury. It's not every day you'd hear an athlete explaining to a doctor that their neck was used as a makeshift vice grip in a moment of frustration on the green. This unusual display of emotion left fans and commentators stunned, adding a memorable twist to that year's tournament. Number 3 on our list is Rory McIlroy's Lake Incident. Rory McIlroy, a golfer typically known for his calm and focused approach to the game. But during the 2015 WGC Cadillac Championship, things didn't go quite as planned. Playing on the Blue Monster course at Trump National Doral in Miami, Rory started the round well, with a powerful 302-yard drive down the fairway. However, when he pulled out his 3-iron for the next shot, things took a turn. Instead of landing near the green, his shot missed its target. Frustrated with the outcome, Rory did something unusual and very memorable. He didn't just slam his club to the ground or toss it aside like many players might. Instead, he took his 3-iron and launched it straight into a nearby lake. The club sailed through the air and splashed down, quickly disappearing underwater. But the story didn't end there. The club stayed in the lake only temporarily, as Donald Trump, who owned the course at the time, decided he wasn't going to let it sit at the bottom of the lake. Trump arranged for a scuba diver to locate and retrieve Rory's 3-iron. After a brief search, the diver resurfaced, holding the club high above the water like a trophy recovered from the depths. Reflecting on the incident later, Rory admitted, "It felt good at the time," but added, "I don't feel good about it now." It was a classic example of a golfer's momentary frustration, followed by a bit of regret after the adrenaline wore off. The scene quickly became one of the most talked about moments of the championship, capturing the raw emotions of the sport and showing that even the best golfers can have a moment of dramatic expression. Coming in at number 2 is Danny Lee's missed putt meltdown. Danny Lee's rough day during the 2020 US Open. Every golfer knows what it feels like to have a tough day on the green, but for Lee, this one went down in golf history. Picture the scene. It's the 18th hole at the infamous Winged Foot, one of the most challenging courses around. He's looking at a 4-foot putt, a distance that professional golfers usually make without much trouble. But what should have been a simple finish quickly turns into a nightmare. On his first putt, he misses. Not ideal, but not a disaster yet. He can still recover. Then comes his second attempt, and it misses too. Now things are looking shaky. He lines up his third putt, and again, the ball doesn't go in. Then the fourth putt misses. By this point, the pressure is building, and everyone watching is holding their breath. His fifth attempt is another miss, and now it's more than just an off moment. It's a full-blown collapse. On his sixth putt, he finally manages to sink the ball. But the frustration and embarrassment have clearly gotten to him. Unable to hold back his emotions, he takes his putter and repeatedly slams it into his golf bag in a display of anger and disappointment. This rare public meltdown from a professional golfer stunned the audience, as Lee eventually withdrew from the tournament, later explaining his decision by citing a wrist injury. While fans speculated about whether the injury was from the missed putts or his outburst, one thing was certain: it was a moment Winged Foot and golf fans wouldn't forget. Lastly, number 1 is the wild story of Tommy Bolt's meltdowns. Tommy Bolt was as famous for his temper as for his skill. His on-course rage was so intense that the PGA supposedly made a rule because of him. Known for tossing clubs when things didn't go his way, fans expected a show along with his game. One of his most memorable outbursts happened in Miami, where he threw his driver into a canal after a bad swing. It sank so deep that even a diver couldn't retrieve it. Tommy joked it was just to give the crowd a laugh, and people loved watching his talent and fiery attitude. Tommy even had a club throwing range to practice his throws, saying putters flew the farthest. In one classic story, he'd thrown almost every club in his bag. When he reached for another, his caddy handed him the last one left, saying, "You've already thrown all the others." We hope you enjoyed these wild golf rage moments. Which meltdown surprised you most? For more intense sports highlights and behind-the-scenes golf stories, hit subscribe and stay tuned.